Vladimir Putin hasn't said much about Ukraine peace talks recently, but Donald Trump is giving regular updates, with his team heading to Moscow next week. They're gonna keep talking, they're talking to Russia now. And Steve Witkoff is going over, maybe with Jared. I'm not sure about Jared going, but he's involved in the process, smart guy, and they're gonna be meeting with President Putin, I believe, next week in Moscow. The man going to the Kremlin once more, Steve Witkoff, Trump golf buddy, businessman, and special envoy. He returns to Moscow as his diplomatic dealings are being called into question, because Bloomberg released a transcript of a phone call between Witkoff and Putin's top foreign policy advisor, which reveals the origins of the initial 28-point peace plan, which was criticized for being too pro-Russian. In the conversation from October the 14th, Witkoff appears to prep Yuri Ushakov on how to get Putin to sweet-talk Trump, saying he should congratulate the U.S. president on the Gaza peace deal and that you respect that he is a man of peace. Ushakov replies, I agree with you that he will congratulate. He will say that Mr. Trump is a real peace man and so and so. Witkoff then says they should come up with a 20-point plan similar to the one in Gaza, stating, now, me to you, I know what it's going to take to get a peace deal done. Donetsk, and maybe a land swap somewhere. Witkoff seems to think this is a simple land deal. Give Russia the entire Donetsk region. But it's not that straightforward. Russia doesn't control all of Donetsk, even as they release footage of them in Pokrovsk, claiming they've nearly taken the entire town. The Ukrainians are still present there too and continue to counterattack. Kyiv and its allies are clear about any peace deal. Borders cannot be changed by force. The man from the phone call, Yuri Ushakov, said today that the latest proposal needed serious analysis in Moscow, and he was asked why someone would have leaked his conversation with Witkoff. He said it was unlikely that whoever did so to improve Russia and U.S. relations. The president himself said the phone call simply showed standard negotiation practice. That's when the deal makers eyes. You gotta say, look, they want this, you gotta convince them with this. That's a very standard form of negotiations is around Maripists robot. Like the club this war could go on for years. And Russia's gonna love war people. When love war soldiers, decisions Baltic Green must include Ukraine. As the Americans and Russians prepare for a tete-a-tete in Moscow, Ukraine and Europeans try to make themselves heard. President Zelensky spoke to the coalition of the willing yesterday. He's backed a revised deal that was brokered between Ukraine and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, which ensured that Ukraine would keep a sizable army after the war and not take NATO membership off the table as розраховує на подальшу активну співпрацю з американською стороною та з президентом Трампом. Багато залежить від Америки, бо саме на американську силу в Росії зважають найбільше. Zelensky wants to meet Trump to finalize that plan. So will that happen before the Moscow meeting? And why is Rubio not heading to the Kremlin with Witkoff and Jared Kushner? Amidst the back and forth of diplomacy, the war grinds on. Another drone strike in Zaporizhia, injuring 12 people. As politicians debate the pros and cons of bullet points on paper, residents here have differing takes. As Yulia clutches her cat outside her burning building, she says the peace plan doesn't look like much. Do you believe in peace? She's asked. No. If I let myself believe that, then ice will come and have merry costs where the costume about lies are nothing. But Victor has a different take. The drone strike broke the windows inside his apartment as he, his wife, and daughters slept. When asked about the talks, he said, better such a peace plan than a continuation of what we have seen and heard today. Better a bad peace